We all have these skills and we're trying to understand, how do we build it out? Where do we start? Who do you speak to? Is there anywhere to go to get these resources? I need to figure this out because clearly not everybody's getting there that easy, and I love a challenge.
Before the pandemic hit, the median American household income was nearly $70,000. In Brownsville, Brooklyn, it was less than 33. The unemployment rate for the country and the rest of the city was around 5%. In Brownsville, it was 15. By the numbers, it was bad, and now it's worse. But even as joblessness grows, the community continues to have a certain spirit, a pride of place, an endurance.
When COVID hit, I already was about to sign a contract to continue on with the nonprofit. When they started letting me know that, the budget was dropping and clearly I will have to be on my way in a few more days.
But instead of becoming a statistic, Keyonnia Hallums became an entrepreneur. She'd been taking a business class hoping to become a fashion designer when she landed on an idea for a new enterprise.
I thought to myself, like I said, what's the worst can happen? We're in COVID, I'm in my house. Fallback for people was unemployment. So I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, hey, if I don't beat this entrepreneurship, I'm gonna sign up for unemployment right away. The first week, I met someone in my class. That's how it took off.
But Brownsville isn't the easiest place to start a business. Keyonnia was only too familiar with what the neighborhood lacked.
I was a young girl. I didn't have no activities really for me to do to express myself the way I wanted to.
Tell me your first address that you remember.
725 Stanley Avenue. That's the address there. There was a one-bedroom, me, my mom, and my two sisters. It was a really eye-opener for me growing up in that neighborhood. I would never forget the day, when police raided over here. I don't know at the time how it happened, but I do remember them taking my mom, put her in jail right here at the precinct, and they took me along with her. And I would never forget, just watching my mom and her just pleading, just like, she's pregnant. That's the main thing I noticed that we didn't have a lot of, just safety. When it doesn't say safety from each other, it's just in general from the world, because we're already characterized as these people. So people already walk past us thinking we're gonna be this type of person. And I want to change that narrative. Like, who wouldn't want to wake up and say, I own the company down the block, and your neighbor is your friend, and they own your next door business next to you. There's others doing it. Why not start here?
Keyonnia decided to turn from making fashion to making personal protective equipment, or PPE.
Things change when the world changed, and that's why I said I was actually just a fashion designer. I wasn't thinking about becoming a manufacturing enterprise. Everything changed, and that's what I thought. I want to save lives with these type of items that I'm making.
In her class, she met someone who knew someone at New York City Housing Authority, or NYCHA, which runs the 362 public housing developments throughout the city, the highest concentration being in Brownsville. They were looking for someone from the community to help make masks.
Really thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm really doing this. And the next thing you know, someone else in my class reached out to me and was like, the commissioner was sending out a list of them asking for vendors to create PPE. And they was like, well, you're a designer. If you're gonna do face masks, you should think of other things. And I looked at this little list and I'm like, gowns? I could make shirts, I could make gowns. And I kid you not, and I tell people, I looked at the application and it legitimately said 10,000 gowns a week. I looked at it and I was like, who says I can't,
She started filling orders and hiring staff, pulling in out-of-work folks she knew from the neighborhood.
So for Keyonnia, we're really excited. I mean, she is the epitome of what you want to see every other person in Brownsville do, right? Take their natural talent, develop a business, obtain a contract, and operate within their own community and then hire people. And so for her, we're actually in the process of helping her locate a space where she can fully manufacture the PPE.
LaShawn Muhammad is the director of the Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation.
What we're looking to do is not just bring in the next Target on Pickett Avenue. If you look at our business corridor on Pickett Avenue, there's only one business that's owned by a local resident. What does that tell you? We are not supposed to create a system where people have to be dependent upon them, right? Because poverty essentially is a business. Helping people become self-sufficient is where economic development plays a role and will address the issue of the trauma, right? Of poverty, right? Of having to depend on another thing, a person, for your very survival.
Just before COVID, Brownsville got some help in building these systems. It came in the form of a grant that brought together some of the neighborhood's leading community organizations.
So Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation, Brownsville Community Justice Center, and the Youth Design Center, formerly known as Made in Brownsville, along with the Community Board 16, 4 institutions in Brownsville that is part of the Brownsville Mobility Labs initiative. And this is a national program sponsored by the Robin Hood Foundation that literally assists communities to come up with their own economic mobility strategy for their community.
It's been a 9-month planning process with Jobs First NYC. Part of it is a new online portal launching this fall called Own Brownsville.
Own Brownsville essentially means, the acronym stands for ownership, wealth building, and networking, right? And so what this website does, though, it literally encapsulates all of the resources that currently exist in the community. This was created as a response to COVID-19.
One hope is that these partnerships and internet resources will help spur job growth, but also give guidance to aspiring entrepreneurs, something Keyonnia lacked when she was first starting out.
I tell people I wish I had a mentor, I wish I had that, and I mean that I didn't, I would love to become one. I'm getting a little emotional because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not even doing this for me, to be honest, because I'm still thinking about the little Keyonnia, because I didn't really have that little Keyonnia fun. And just thinking about it now, it's like, share it while you can. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional, why? Oh my gosh, I am.
Keyonnia has applied to the Department of Education to offer a class on entrepreneurship, and she's giving a pitch to schools throughout the city.
Hello everyone, my name is Keyonnia Hallums and I am the CEO and founder of Attire LLC. And I'm here to obtain an invitation into your schools.
With the pitch over and Keyonnia getting inquiries, she's now out looking for a space to grow her PPE operation.
I am heading right to East New York Avenue. I'm gonna go see a cool little manufacturing space that I think is cool for it. So I'm really excited to see. And I was like, wow, it's right here in Brownsville, it's a place for artists. I've definitely liked some of the options that were there, I really did. And the location is perfect. So right now I'm deciding of what should I do, what space should I go with. And they actually have another building, but I'm mad because it's not in this community, so it sucks.
She's committed to staying in Brownsville and giving back to the community.
There's not even a bar restaurant. Like, I have to travel legitimately to Williamsburg just to sit at a bar. How we don't have a bar in this neighborhood? Like, we don't even have a restaurant we could sit down and eat and dine with each other. There's not even a diner. Like, there's no place for us to be civilized people that we could feel in this community. So that's why I'm like, who tells us that we have to leave here for this to be built for it to be comfortable for someone else? No, let's build it and comfortable and stay here, okay? And I think that's what it needs to be changed in Brownsville, and I think that's my way of seeing Brownsville, is that type of change.